This is Fox 26 Morning News at 8 a.m.
Smartphones are stressing us out. Take it and chunk it across the room. A tech expert is here with advice on putting the screens down. It's coming up next.
We know smartphones are addicting, and there's increasing research to support how they negatively impact our lives.
Negatively, that's what we're focusing on, because it's one of the factors is stress, and today happens to be the start of Stress Awareness Week. Here with advice on how to curb smartphone addiction is mindful technology expert Nick Wolny. Good morning to you, Nick.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Well, we're glad you're here. What are the negative impacts of smartphone addiction?
Well, it's kind of a paradox because on the one hand, there's increasing scientific evidence that when you are looking at screens for a number of hours of the day, it starts to actually erode your attention. It becomes harder to concentrate, and it can actually begin to increase cravings over time. But on the other hand, you know, for a lot of us, we have day-to-day responsibilities, work responsibilities and personal responsibilities that require us to stay connected. It doesn't really work to just go off the grid and disappear for days at a time.
Okay, nearly half of the people who have been surveyed say that they get nervous when they leave the phone at home. Is there anything you could recommend for getting over that separation anxiety?
I think a great first step is to take the phone out of the bedroom. A lot of people have their phone plugged in on their nightstand, you know, at the end of the night, and it becomes the last thing that they look at before they go to bed and the very first thing they look at when they get up in the morning. And so by just putting the phone into another room, that can kind of start that detox process, so to speak. I think another really great example is if everyone, you know, in a social setting, everyone takes their phone and they set it down. I call it stacking the smartphones. And the first person to mindlessly grab picks up the tab.
That's a good idea, because how often do we see either families or friends at a dinner or even at a party, and it's like the second there's a lull in the conversation, the comfort zone now is to look and get the phone out and start swiping.
Exactly. And if you're going to do something 50 or 75 or 100 times a day, like reach for your phone to be engaged, that's going to become a habit really, really quickly. And so it's just about being mindful. It's about being aware of when you're reaching for the phone and putting it away just for a certain time of the day in order to be connected to people.
Okay, tell us what we benefit from by putting the phone down.
Well, you start to become more engaged with people. You become more aware, and you have some time to just take things into consideration, have a really authentic conversation with people, and not get so caught up. We were just making social media jokes earlier. Not get so caught up in, you know, documenting the conversation, but actually living in the moment and being in the conversation with the ones you love.
It sounds so healthy.
Yeah.
All right, thanks for coming in. It's good information.
Thanks for having me.